Okay, welcome back to another Odyssey 40k video. And this one, I am interviewing Jonty, who is there. Welcome, Jonty. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Jonty is the voted president of the Warhammer 40k Aotearoa New Zealand Incorporated Society. So really, this interview is going to be about understanding what the society wants to do, what's its kind of goals, and kind of the whole structure behind the whole thing. So I've got a few questions we're going to ask, and then if anyone has any questions in chat, you're more than welcome to jump on and do that as well. So yeah, if anything's interesting you, if there's any questions you have, throw them in chat and we'll talk about it. But before we start with this interview, there is one thing that I want to talk about. In about 3 weeks' time, on the 20th and 21st of September, I am going to be doing a charity stream on the Saturday and the Sunday. I'm going to be getting my friends and other YouTubers and stuff like that on to do TTS games, and I'm going to commentate them and just have like a bunch of fun. We'll get some like kind of wacky lists. Hopefully the balanced data slide is out by then, so we can have some interesting new lists and see like how, well, like what people are coming up with. And if you could donate to Blue September, which is the prostate cancer research and help charity that I'm supporting, that would be amazing. But enough of that for now. We'll have another talk after the interview. But yeah, if you could do that, there is a little link on the live stream down here as a QR code. So if you want to, you can scan that and go to the page, and then you can see how you can donate from there. But yeah, all donations from the weekend, if there's anything goes to YouTube, will be going to the will get donated, but everything also can just be directly donated. Awesome. With that aside, Jonty, how are you doing this lovely night? Are you excited to talk about the society?
I am, Chris. The society is something that I'm very passionate about.
Yes. Who? Because you were the person that came up with the society in the first place, right?
Oh, it was a group of us that kind of all recognised the need for something.
Yep.
But I think I was the one that drafted up the constitution and kind of got everything put together enough for us to become a registered society.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, so we'll just dive straight into the questions now, and then we can, if anyone has any questions in chat, just throw them out there and we'll just get to them between each question. So the first one here is, what was the motivation behind forming the Warhammer 40k Aotearoa NZ Society, and what role do you see it playing in the wider New Zealand 40k community?
Good question. So the motivation. So after we went to WTC 2023, the first time New Zealand went, we had a great time. And we very quickly realized that what we wanted to do was try and build some sort of structural organization around how we selected teams, how we selected a captain, and how we fundraised for WTC, because it is very expensive. And those motivations feed directly into the role of the society. Our purpose, in a nutshell, is to select a captain, select a playing team, and fundraise, and send those people overseas to WTC, but also other international events that come up.
Okay.
Wherever there's some sort of like Team New Zealand representative team, the New Zealand Warhammer 40k Aotearoa New Zealand will be involved in selecting those players and equipping them and sending them off to do their very best.
Awesome. That's a very cool initiative. So behind that, so what caused that to happen? So obviously there's like a bunch of funding, but you just wanted to build a structure for Team New Zealand and any other events that might come up in the future. So like potentially maybe if we could get funding towards a player, if they could get access to Worlds or something like that. Is that kind of the idea? Anyone that's representing New Zealand on a world stage, or is it mainly for teams 40k?
Look, it is mainly for teams. We haven't committed any sort of thinking or planning to singles events.
Okay.
And they are very different beasts, teams and singles. Teams, just the cost involved for the number of people makes it something that is really inaccessible for a lot of people. And part of our goal was to try and make it as accessible to as many people as we could. Because the way that New Zealand's going to perform the best at these competitions is if we can take the absolute best players and do the best we can, even if some of those players might otherwise not be able to afford it. That's where the society can come in and try and subsidise the costs through fundraising and grants. That way we can do the best we can.
Awesome. That's amazing. You're just trying to build New Zealand's infrastructure up for the team's events specifically at the moment, and then maybe further down the line it could be one of the goals to try and, if there is a singles event, to represent New Zealand on the same kind of level as like a WTC, like a one person is elected from each country kind of event. You could potentially do something there.
Yeah, look, it's not something that we've given a lot of thought into, or any thought into really. We're still very new. We're very young. We only incorporated it in the last year. So we're currently going through the process that we created to select the committee and then the captain and the players. So once we've actually done our job successfully once, we might consider expanding it, but
awesome.
I think, we'll just focus on what our core business was at this point, and that's, getting a team to WTC this year or next year.
Awesome. Cool. So we got a first little comment here from Vincent. It feels like the national team has been quite Auckland-centric the last 3 years. How do you intend to avoid this pitfall with the association?
Really good question. Yeah, and you are right. The team has been really Auckland-centric. One of my goals for the society is trying to build as much representation across New Zealand as we can. So as part of my platform when I put myself forward for chairperson was I'm going to specifically target recruitment for like broader TOs and stuff like that from across the country. So we've now built the society up to 30 members. We've just had our 30th member join this week. And we've got people from, a lot of Auckland, but also, we've got people from across the South Island, we've got people from across the North Island. Essentially the way that we have set out the criteria by which we elect a selection committee, one of the factors that we take into account is trying to build a geographically diverse selection committee so that players who are from all around the country all have equal opportunity to apply and join. I think it is a reality that a lot of 40K is Auckland Central. So I think, it may well be the case that we don't get away from that immediately. But it's about equal opportunity. And, like I know, for instance, we had some Wellington guys. We've always had Christchurch guys go to WTC. But I want to make sure that absolutely anybody who wants to be able to go to WTC has the ability.
Awesome.
And that way we can just build the best team we can.
Yep. No, that sounds really great. It actually leads perfectly on to the second question that I have here as well. And thanks, Vincent, for that question, because that was a great way to lead on to this, which is, how has the society grown since its founding, and what impact has it had so far on players, events, and the competitive scene in New Zealand?
Sure. So, in terms of growth, we started with, the 10 people we needed to found the society. I don't know how many people saw, but, there were Facebook posts from me talking about, hey, we're founding the society. Anyone who wants to join, we're happy to have you. If you're passionate about 40K in New Zealand and you're interested in competitive play, that's what we're there to promote. So, as I said, look, we've now just hit 30 members, which is awesome. Built from the 10 that we started with, we've tripled that in, I think October was when we formed up. So since then, we've tripled our number of people that have signed up in less than 12 months, which is great. And look, we plan to continue to grow it. Although, the number of members is never the objective. We're not a society that's trying to encourage absolutely everybody to join, because we're here to promote a specific thing, and we want people who are dedicated to that kind of goal, promoting competitive play in New Zealand. So, yeah, in terms of the impact we've had on players and events and in competitive scenes so far, I think it's probably very little. Like as I said, we're very young, but I think that the plan is that the impact that we have is going to be more internationally, and by achieving international success, we're going to build the interest and excitement in New Zealand. So by doing well overseas, we bring that back home. So I think WTC 2026 is going to be the first time that the society has done its job and put a team together and sent it off. So it'll be really interesting to see how that team does, how that whole process works, and like with anything, we're going to refine it and improve it and take into account feedback as we go. We'll keep building.
That's a really awesome way to work on it. It's like, you're not going to do everything perfectly the first time, but just having that mentality of, hey, we're going to make this as best we can. It's going to take us a couple of goes. We're going to try our best every time, but at least always iterating and always trying to make sure it becomes the best thing we possibly can for the community as a whole. It's really an awesome way to approach it. And yeah, obviously the impact is going to be very small when we've only been, how long has it been a society for so far? Like 6 months?
No. I think we're about 10 or 11 months.
Oh wow, gosh, God, time flies.
Yeah,
time flies.
It's not very small and very quiet,
Yeah.
But like as we've grown a lot, especially in the last 6 months, as we've done most of our growing. The first few months were just about setting up all the bank accounts and the charter and doing all the admin stuff that we needed to really start. But one of the goals that we have is to really promote and enable competitive play. So that's your 2K WTC format. That's what we are going to internationally. That's what our international teams deal with when they go overseas. So trying to enable any communities that want to use that kind of format to help them, use that format at their events. That's another thing that we have plans for in the future, is helping with that.
That sounds really great. Cool. So that leads me on to my next question, which is, what are the biggest challenges facing the NZ40K community right now, and how is the society going to help address them? So what are the issues that the society is trying to solve? So obviously it's the selecting captain and then helping select players to start with, and then the money, right? So how are they going about those processes?
Yeah, so like in terms of selection, Vincent's question earlier, as we said, was very relevant because we want to combat the view that it's a specific group of people that are basically in control of what happens at New Zealand going to WTC. I guess it is now a specific group of people, but it's a specific group of people that's elected by the society. And in that vein, everyone has the opportunity to get in and get involved. There's a lot of people in the community, and I've encountered a lot of it as well since I've kind of stepped in this position. There's some friction between groups of people, and it's about trying to, as fairly as possible and as transparently as possible, show our working and how we build this team. And as I said, that's a process that we're going through now. That's why we posted that big Facebook post a couple of weeks ago on, hey, we're going to be doing a selection committee and then a captain. So, if anyone's interested in doing that, sign up or contact me, or, we can give you more information on it. And, we had a bunch of people join up and express interest from that. In terms of the financial side of things, that's probably a better position for you to talk about, Mr. Partnerships Manager.
Yeah. So this is kind of where I kind of come into this. Yeah.
Is that he is also part of the society.
Yes.
And while I'm the chairperson, Chris is our partnerships manager, which is a role that I'll let you talk about. Chris, what's your job?
So my job within the society, and this is quite a bit of a passion project for me as well, is fundraising and getting sponsorships, as well as any other means of getting funding for the society and bipartisan Team New Zealand, so to help fund them to get over there. So this is applying for grants. I've looked into a bunch of different grants. A lot of them are time restricted. So there's like kind of like pacing, but getting everything planned. So when we can apply for them, stuff like that, it's all ready to go and we can just shoot our shot. Obviously, you're not going to get every grant, but if you don't apply for them, there's no chance of getting them. So my job is to get all that paperwork ready, get the budget ready, and then try and push for as many of these grants as I can. Same with sponsorships. So if there's different companies out there that I think might align with Team New Zealand's goals, I will reach my hand out and be like, hey, is there a possibility for a sponsorship here? And then go through those dialogue chains and stuff like that. But everything I do also goes back to the committee members. So I don't have full control over any of this. Everything that I do, I basically push through back to every time I make a decision. I'm like, hey, is this the correct decision? I get someone else to second it before I go forward with it. So it doesn't become, I don't get to control the vision of Team New Zealand in a way, because you don't want to like have one person fully just controlling what sponsors you can get and all this kind of stuff, because it could definitely go down a rabbit hole if you did something like that. Not saying that I would do that, but it's just a way of making sure that, that everyone is happy with society. And then obviously once captain is selected, he'll be a big part of that. And all things considered, all that kind of stuff wraps in one kind of big kind of cup. But that's kind of my goal, is just to get as much funding. But my real goal is to try and get funding that can last multiple years. So getting sponsorships that are going to not just be for this year, but it can be for next year and the year after. And same with grants. Once you get a grant, it's quite easy to get access to the grant again. So it's just trying to get that foothold to make our voice heard with getting these grants, because it becomes a lot easier the second time around when you've got proof of what you've spent your grant on, and then the success that the team did from using that grant and all that kind of stuff. So with that comes a bit of the marketing side of it as well. I have to kind of do that. But yeah, that's kind of my role.
No, and it's one that you're very well suited for, Chris. You've
Yeah.
obviously got a built Odyssey in the way that you have, and
Yeah.
it's awesome that you have that platform now that the society is going to absolutely exploit.
Yeah, it is convenient. No, yeah, and it does help out, right? Like the fact that I do this stuff, it helps me be able to push out to people, and it's literally why I'm doing this live stream tonight. Is just so we have this for people to go back onto, to like go back onto and be like, oh yeah, this is what the society's about. I might do an edited version of this with Jonty at some point as well. Maybe a bit further down the line with like a really curated question set and stuff like that. But that can be for a later date. This at least gets everything out there.
This is not scripted.
Yeah, this is definitely not scripted. This is just two friends bantering, and luckily, I have a platform to do it on. But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of my part. But yeah, that's a huge part of what the opportunities that the society can give. Being an incorporated society gives you access to so much more, especially on the grant side of things. There's basically no grants you can get access to if you're not some sort of society. So it's a huge bargaining chip when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, being a legal entity means that we're accountable for every cent that we spend.
Yep.
Like we have to do our financial returns to the society's register, and we're accountable to the people that give us grants. So as part of that, it's really transparent, and we're really accountable. So like if we don't use the money exactly how we say we're going to use the money, we don't get any money.
Yep. It does, like, I think the behind the scenes for my role, and then also the treasurer, is there's actually quite a bit of behind the scenes work of also having to figure out the complete budget for things. And then when you get a grant or you get a sponsorship, you have to prove that you're using that money for the right thing. So it's also about making sure we keep the bookkeeping all in line, because we don't want to have any single thing against our name. We want to make sure we're doing everything above board and everything in the correct manners. But it does make it a fair bit more work at times, which, it's part of the benefit of being able to apply for these things, is you have to put in the work with them as well. Then it's not just free money. But yeah, that's the one. Another one from Vincent here. Is this society inspired of other similar ideas in other countries? Is there already a collaboration established with other similar entities in other countries? Interesting questions.
Absolutely. So, like going to WTC and talking to these other teams, they all have something similar like this. I mean, if you look at France and what France does, they're kind of like a bit of an example because they have like 3 or 4 different leagues that you fight your way up through, and then the winners of certain leagues can fight other winners, and then eventually through some sort of big tournament, you end up with the WTC team. We don't have the size to do that, but we wanted to build something that was open, transparent, and fair. And yeah, like that's what other countries have in place. Rules about how you're selected and who does the selecting, and yeah, it's not that we copied it, but we copied it a little bit.
Yeah. Taking liberties from it to make sure like it is still our own thing, but it's like I think a lot of the structures are very similar for a lot of countries. So I don't think like there's definitely like a group that helps select and then goes from there.
Yeah, and like certainly in the process of creating this, largely I wrote the rules and I was like, what do I think is like the most fair and reasonable way? And in some places I came up with a couple of different options that we could go with, and then at our first AGM, I basically said, all right, here's the charter, here's everything I've written, let's talk through it. Here's a couple of options where we can decide, and then we had a bunch of votes on exactly what system we wanted to use. And likewise, where some people had contacted me and said, could we do it this way? I was like, I'm going to write something up for that so that we've got that as an option, and then we'll all vote on it, and then we'll go from there. So everything that we do has been, voted on and ratified by our members. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that other question, Vincent. If anyone has any questions about the society, just throw them in chat. Otherwise, we'll carry on for the moment. This one's kind of already been pretty much answered, but we'll still go through it because I think it's important to define it. And that is, how does the society strike a balance between supporting high-level competitive players, like WTC teams, and making sure casual players feel included and represented?
So one of the requirements of joining the society is that you are involved in competitive play. Mm-hmm. Now, the definition for competitive play in the society is very low. It's basically that you are dedicated to like playing 40K well. It's not about your performance. It's about I take the game seriously, and you attend some number of tournaments, annually. It's not restrictive. It's quite open. We wanted to put in some sort of competitive restriction because we want to make it clear that the society isn't really built for your weekend casual kind of game in your mate's basement. That's all you do for the year. The society is probably not the ideal place for you. What we are is about selecting and delivering that high performance to international events. And so we don't have anything for dedicated casual players, but as with anything in the society, if you want to push and take the game more seriously and transition from more casual to competitive, then it's not a difficult journey to take. And as soon as you start it, boom, you're in our books. So anyone who's dedicated to that has a place in the society.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's definitely focused towards the more competitive side of things, but that doesn't mean the intrepid getting into competitive people can't get something out of it as well, because they kind of have a society to at least look towards to like, oh, okay, I can get into this, but it's definitely not a society for, your garage gamers, your once a month players, stuff like that. It's really not like the society isn't for them specifically, right?
And I think it's really important, to clarify when we talk about, making the society accessible to people. The society is not something that, provides a service or provides training or anything like that. Look, we function to set out, a method of how we select and promote 40K in New Zealand, and how we deliver international teams. So, there's a lot of people who have no interest in that at all, and that's totally fine. Again, the society is probably not the place for those people. It is about delivering one, a particular piece of business. But anyone who's interested in that, where we want to be. So, if you want to have a say in how those teams are formed, if you want to have a say in the rules that we operate by and how we promote 40K in New Zealand, then that's exactly the right place for you.
Awesome. Now, very, very cool. And then on to the last question that I have for this part of the interview, and that is the future plans. Looking ahead in the next 3 to 5 years, what is your vision for the society, and what milestones would you like to see the NZ 40K community achieve?
Yeah, so I guess that harkens back to what I put forward as my vision for 40K Aotearoa New Zealand for when I applied for chairperson for the year. And that is, it was growth of the society itself, which is something that we've already made a lot of progress in. As I said, we've increased our membership a lot. And it was also, geographic diversity of members. That's something we've built too. But those are also two things that I'm really keen to keep pushing for. I want people all across New Zealand to know, who's involved in 40K. Hey, so and so's in the society. If we want to, hey, maybe someday I'll think about going to WTC or something like that. I want to make sure that there's people around that you can go to, to talk about that kind of stuff. And I think TOs especially have a really good role, because when we're looking at, like team selection and stuff like that, a lot of people from, people on the top of the North Island aren't going to know much about the players on the bottom of the South Island, but the local people will. If you're a TO, you know who's playing at your events, you know how well they're doing. So I think, TOs especially have a really, really big role to play in supporting, the players who come to their clubs and who want to really push and take competitively seriously. Like you said, Chris, so we don't want to send a WTC team 2026. We want to send a team 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029. We want to make it that something that New Zealand can attend routinely, because that's how we're going to be able to be pushing our results up, doing better and better every year, while also making it accessible to as many players across New Zealand. One of the barriers, that we've encountered doing it 3 years now, that a team's been sent for the last 3 years, and we've had, some players who can't go every year. I went the first 2 years, couldn't really go this year, so, and there are, people who went the first year and then the third year, and people who went the second and third year but aren't going to go the fourth year. It's about trying to broaden our pool of players as well, and have as much of a draw to the best people that we can. It's not about having the best 8 people, because you can't send the best 8 people every year. It's about building the best, 30 people or 40 people or however many, as big and as deep as we can really build this pool of players, so that as many people that want to have the opportunity to go. If they're prepared to put the work in and work hard at crushing it in 40K. If you take the war dollies very seriously, then you too can go to Europe and play even more war dollies.
Yeah, we definitely obviously we're very passionate about competitive 40K in general. We love the hobby, but we also are very passionate about the sports side of it, right? The actual competition. We love playing high level games of 40K. That's why we're in the society.
I tell my wife that I'm an athlete.
You are definitely something.
But 2025. How was that? Wait, no, that's this year. 2024. How many games straight of 40K did I play in Europe? 13, 14.
Yeah, you were an absolute monster, man.
Yeah. My complexion broke down. I had pimples everywhere. It was sweaty. It was awful. But I was I could go for more 40K. I really could have played more 40k after that.
I must say, you are the one person that I've seen that just has never had like a limit of the 40k. Most people get to like 6 or 7 games and they're like, oh yeah, I can, take a stop. I think you could literally go for 2 weeks straight playing 40k and you'd be fine.
Weakness.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that is all the questions I've had. Jonty, is there anything else you want to bring up about the society whilst we have everyone talking about that, and then we'll go on to the next part?
I think just watch this space.
Yep.
We've got this process underway now to comprise a selection committee. I think that's coming. That'll be done in a few weeks. I can't remember these dates. I've written them down. They're in the applications for the date. And then then we'll have our captain selected, and that'll be really big. And then it'll be players. So as far as membership for the society goes, the selection committee and the captain need to be members of the society.
Mm-hmm.
But playing members, people who travel overseas on the playing team, there's no requirement that they be members. And that was something that I was really important to me to make sure, was that there's no requirement. If you want to take part of this, you actually don't have to be part of the society. The society still exists to promote you. So you don't have to be a member to be eligible to receive, funding from the society. Our goal is to send the team, and if you're part of that team, then you're going to benefit from it. What it would mean is that player doesn't have a voice in the processes that we use to select you. But if you want to play, you don't have to be part of the society, and that's you don't have to, but you can be.
Yeah. I think another important thing that we didn't bring up is the society is non-profit. Like, we're not here to make any money out of this ourselves. This is wholly just to help Team New Zealand and New Zealand as a whole with whatever we can. It's not for us to line our pockets whatsoever. Our entire mantra is that we will make no money off this ourselves.
Yeah, I think by law we're not allowed to make money off it.
Good.
I think, just from a memory of the legislation that applies to the society, the best we can do is reimburse a member for reasonable costs incurred in pursuing the goals of the society. So, and functionally that's you bought your plane tickets. We'll subsidise that a little bit. I don't get any money. Chris doesn't get any money. It's all about the hobby.
Yep, exactly. Cool, and with that, we will conclude the interview. We're going to keep talking for a little bit, but that will be the end of the society chat for now. If there's anyone with any more questions, feel free to throw them in chat for the next wee while, and we'll go through them and we can answer them if they're in chat. So don't feel like you can't ask any more questions, but we'll go on to some other fun topics.
And actually, a thought that I've just had, Chris, is if you put the email address for the society in the video link.
Can you send that to me on Facebook right now?
Yeah, I can.
And I will. I'll put it in the chat right this second, and then I can put it in the description at the end.
Yeah, and then if anyone at any point has any questions, even after this stream, the mailbox is always open. You just reach out, awesome. either to the society or me directly if you have my contact details. Yep. Hopefully not everyone does.
Everyone does, man. After this, you're a 40k celebrity now.
Yeah. There it is. There's the email. I'm just sending it to you on Facebook, Chris.
Beautiful. Done. Thank you. Cool. And I'll put that in chat now. That's the email, and I'll link it in the description at the end of the video as well. Once we're offline. But that is that done. Beautiful. Well, yeah. Again, thank you very much, Jonty. I'm going to do one more plug for the fundraiser that I'm doing on the 20th and 21st. I'm going to do this fancy transition so we get over to this screen. So this is the Blue September page that I have created for
I can't see anything.
Yeah. Jonty can't see this because I'm not sharing my screen with him, but you guys there can see it, which is just it's through Blue September. There is a link in the description of the video, and I will literally right this second put it in chat as well. So that is there, so you can come and have a look see there as well. So that's really awesome. So if you want to come and donate, it would be awesome. Prostate cancer is a thing that plagues a lot of people. There is, I believe, 2 people a day in New Zealand pass away from prostate cancer, and obviously it's a cancer that affects a lot of men in New Zealand, and it's something that we need more research and we just need more care for. These people, it's all about just raising awareness, making sure that you're getting those blood tests done. Doesn't matter how old you are, you can get this disease. So it's really about just trying to get some money, have some fun, play some 40k with our mates, and kind of do that all together and raise some money for this charity. So it's going to be really awesome. I have a set goal of, actually, I'm going to have to, I wonder, can I actually move myself? I can't. There's a set goal for $500. I can't move my face at the moment, but there's a set goal for $500. But I will be doing some stretch goals as well. If we get to certain amounts, I will put some pretty spicy things if we can get to them. I think, I don't know how much it will be, but one of the tiers will be, I will get a 40k themed tattoo if we reach that goal. There'll be other things that if we reach a certain goal, I'll play a certain faction to an event, like they can be voted on at a later date, all that kind of stuff. So there can be some pretty fun ones if we reach them, but there'll be more stretch goals. The first 500 goals, there'll be a goal for that as well. Just kind of coming up with all that right now. So, but once that's all done, we'll be cooking. But yeah, that'll be very exciting. So yeah, that's the other plug for that. There is also a link in the corner here again on the QR code. My wife in the chat, you are not getting a tattoo. I'm like, whoa. That depends. That's a very supportive wife of the charity. But yeah, so you can also get to that same page through this QR code here.
Is there a stretch goal where Chris's wife gets a tattoo?
Oh no! I would not go that far. I will not go that far.
You cannot afford it.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's kind of the whole goal of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Got some pretty big names coming so far. Won't spoil anything yet, but watch the Odyssey 40k Facebook page and the Warhammer 40k New Zealand page. I'll post everything into those. That's coming up, so I'll do some more teasers throughout the next couple of weeks before the event. But yeah, it's going to be really exciting. I'm really pumped for this. We've got a bunch of fun people to come on, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully there's a lot of fun. And yeah, now I want to talk some banter with you, Jonty, and I want to do a 40k wish list for the balanced starter slate that's coming out in the next week or two. What is your... Okay, firstly, before you wish list what we want, what in your eyes, what factions are struggling the most in your eyes?
Ooh.
I'm putting you on the spot here, but this is more me just having fun.
Yeah, man. I think one faction that's really having a hard time is Death Guard. No kidding.
After that nerfed.
Yeah, man. No, craziness. No kidding. Yeah, man. If you said armies, like what armies are struggling the most? So I'm going to skip agents because I don't consider them an army.
No, they're not an army, it's true. Jed literally just commented, and it's like, how much to get you to play agents at your next event? Now that there can be a goal for that. Like it can be the Ashley goal that if I get enough, I'll borrow his army and I'll play an event with it. Like
Ash would love that.
He would love that. There'll be one way to get him to donate. But yeah, so what factions do you think are struggling the most?
There's always like non-ultramarine marines. They don't do super good. There's just better options. You know, it's the new detachments that they've had come out. New detachments. The new models for Lysander and the not
Shrike.
Chapter Master's new guy's name. I can't remember what it is. I don't see this as game changing, so it'd be good to see them get a little bit of love as well. Well, it's really sitting at the bottom. AdMech's not doing super great, right?
I feel like a little bit of the AdMech and GSC problem is the hobby side of it. It's just so expensive to get those armies. You know, like to actually field a full AdMech army that's painted is actually a lot of cost because the boxes aren't cheap, and it's a lot of hobby time because all those models are very intricate. And it's the same with GSC. Like, you just have so many models in your army that it is quite expensive, especially the competitive style lists.
Yeah, so I now have done the smart thing and just put up a list of factions.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, obviously I've just looked through the list and I'm like, Orcs. Orcs is clearly like in a pretty rough space at the moment. They need a bit of love. I think Tau win rates are like 45% or something like that, maybe like or up to 48 depending on where you look.
Yep, they have won a couple of GTs in the past month though, which is kind of interesting. So I think they can, like crawl through the cracks.
Yeah, you know, like if you, the issue is like the best Tau player, you know, that I know is still like I still have to dodge some auto lose matches. You know, you still need a degree of luck. Tyranids are pretty low down.
Yeah, the new subterranean assault for Tyranids has given them a bit more life. But I think one of my favorite things to see from WTC was Sam Pope, who was one of the best American Tyranids players. At the top of his list for his GSC army was, I gave a faction 6-inch deep strike, Rura wants to hit army wide, and I'm still taking GSC. And I was like, yeah. It's like, you know, there's something wrong there.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a good place in the meta where there isn't really a lot at the bottom. There's a tremendous amount that's kind of just in the middle. That, and you know, and the differences between the best performing armies and the middle of the pack are not insurmountable. You know, it's difficult to be one of those best performing armies playing into something at the bottom like Orcs. That's a tough game, but you know, like nothing's unbeatable. That's good. You can. We're
actually in like a pretty amazing place right now. Like, yes, Knights and Death Guard are a little bit overtuned, but the rest of the meta, like most things, have a play into most things. Like, there's no like truly like auto lose matchups. There might be like, oh, if I play X faction against Y factions, this detachment versus this detachment, there might be like a really bad matchup.
Yeah, right.
But like
everything has their I don't like this match.
Exactly.
And you know, when certain things are in the meta, you know, the very nature of having, you know, knights at the top means that armies that don't have the best access to anti-tank struggle. You know, so by nerfing knights a little bit, pushing them down, you are indirectly raising up those armies, so that you don't need to actually do as much with them. You know, everything's got its natural predator. Yeah, like there's just, I think it depends really how far they want to go with this balance data slate. But there's just a lot of stuff that's just never seen in armies. You know, a lot of detachments that get no play. You know, it'd be a really good opportunity, I think, with the game being fairly balanced to work on some of those. The thing, you know, one of the things that comes to mind is the really, really awful Necron detachment for, what is it? Annihilation Legion is just like the Scorpic Destroyer detachment. It's awful. I don't know if it's ever won any event. You know, like they've demonstrated their willingness to go back and tweak rules, you know, stratagems and enhancements of attachment rules, which is really awesome that we're in a place where they can do that. So, you know, if they buff some of those things that we never see, all it does is broaden the game. It just makes more variety, and I think more variety is just better for DK.
Definitely. It does make it harder in a competitive sense because there's more things you need to practice for. But that's more exciting for me. Like, it's more like I hate when it's like, I'm going to play one of these 8 things. And it's like, okay, like that's just gets a bit bland very quickly, especially when you play a lot of games. Whereas like there's 30 things that I could be playing or 60 things I could be playing. That's the sweet spot we want to get to.
And I think as well, when the more dominant the particular meta is, the more dominant the counter meta is. So if we have a less dominant meta, the counter meta as well is less impactful. You know, like the Eldari are good because knights are strong. So as Knights get weaker, so do kind of Eldari.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But, you know, I know people who went to, you know, the latest Chile event and they're like, cool, I bought anti-Knights. And there was only, what, like 5 CKIK players total?
Yeah.
And they just dodged all of them and were miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Dylan, who was running his Val and Paragons and then another unit of Paragons. And he's like, I didn't get to play Knights all weekend.
Yeah, it's brutal. Congrats for winning that, by the way.
Sorry?
You won that event, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you. Nice. Yeah, I know Cam Wilkinson took like a bunch of Sunforge.
Yeah.
And I don't think he played Knights either. So.
I think he played IK once.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, like.
I mean, still he came second, so it's like.
Yeah.
You know.
That boy was 10 points down every game.
Yeah, he was. I mean, if he wasn't though, he probably would have played me, and that would have been more. That would have been.
That would have been more exciting. Yeah, it's true.
He was higher than Ezra going into round, the final round. You know, could have easily played him. I don't think it was Swiss or whatever. Were you?
I'm not sure. Sorry, I wasn't there, so I wouldn't have.
Known
how they would have done it.
Still, it was a really good event.
Yeah,
really
always usually is. I had a bunch of FOMO from not going because it's one of those events where it's just like, oh, when you see all your friends playing 40k and you're not there, like, no.
Well, I dodged all my friends, right? like you know, even just beyond my friends, like the Chile team that I'm in. I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna play Ash or Dylan or Jacob or I'm gonna play someone.
Yeah.
No. I was like, when Pato was winning his game, I was like, oh yeah, I might play Pato. This would be good.
Yeah.
Nope.
It was funny when I first started playing competitive. I didn't want to play my friends because like, oh, I want us both to get to the end, and that kind of thing. Now I'm like, let me play my friends. I just want to hang out with my friend for 3 hours. Like it's kind of funny how my mentality's changed on that. Like,
well, that was what OTT 2024 was you and me in the finals.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. That was a fun game. I really enjoyed that game actually. That was you on. I was actually playing Kion and you were on Double Monolith Hypercrypt, right?
That was my like older version of that list where I had like the Nightbringer and Zaris and like 30 Immortals, and then the list got nerfed, and so I'm like, all right, back to the drawing board, Silent King.
Yeah.
That
was fun. That was back when. Were Tetris still around there? No, it wasn't Tetris.
Yeah, no,
Tetris would have. Yeah, Tetris were right then. Yeah, that was a fun time. Now I've gotten to the finals of OTT 2 years in a row, and both years I got to the final and then failed, but still got top 3. So I'm pretty proud of myself for at least having enough points throughout the rest of my games that I still scored high enough. So that's been my goal is to one time win OTT.
Not if I go, Chris.
Yeah. Hey. One day I'll beat you, my friend.
I'm gonna crush your dreams repeatedly.
Yeah. I remember. I think it was the first OTT.
Yeah, you beat me.
That was your like 5th game of tabletop,
physical tabletop. Second time, actually, yeah. The second time I ever went to was OTT 2023. Yeah.
Oh, we got another question, Jonty. When are you coming to Wellington to play? Auckland guys haven't won there in a while. We need more competition.
I live in Hamilton, so you got a Hamilton guy coming down. Nah, like at some point I'd be keen to come down to one. It's kind of like when I want to travel, I travel like overseas or just locally. So Wellington's still like a weekend away. But yeah, like I know like a bunch of my mates like Charlie and stuff go down to it. So I think I will tag along at some point. It's I'm fortunate to be bringing another human into the world soon, so I don't actually know how much 40k I will be able to go and travel for in the coming years, but hopefully still a lot.
Yeah, you'll still be a menace on TTS, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I don't have to go anywhere for that.
Yeah, and just bringing up the Wellington team, the Wellington guys, they do great events as well. Like they're properly cocked team, and everyone else down there, they actually do really, really great events. the venues that they have are really, really nice, and I need to be getting to one of them soon, actually. I need to actually figure out when the next one I can go to is and get some flights there, because there's direct flights from Dunedin to Wellington, so I should actually try and go to one of those sometime soon.
I'm also into Wellington. I live like 400 meters from the airport.
That's nice.
So I really have no excuses. I could basically walk to the airport to catch my flight.
That's not bad. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so we've discussed what we think is the strongest and the weakest in the meta right now. What would you want a combination of points and rules, or do you want more rules or more points? Like what do you think is the better balancing aspect right now?
Rules.
Mm-hmm.
I think rules for the more struggling stuff, points for the stuff that's doing the best. Mm. Because like you always want something to feel impactful. You always like having a rule that actually pushes you to play better and more involved with your opponent. You know, like rules that are more interactive and impactful just feel good. You know, like as much as people hate Death Shroud, when I play Death Guard, I feel super clever when I'm like, haha, now like I'm going to stage here and these units come out here and now I'll fall back from this unit and I'll get these ones in my contagion range, and I set up all that stuff, and it's not hard. It's not rocket science to like, oh, you're within 9 inches of me, yay. But like, and then when you set that up and the reward is Death Shroud come in at 6 inches and kill anything in the game. So it's about, I feel like in that situation, it's about points. You know, I think Death Shroud with Lords of Contagion are probably appropriately pointed now. Maybe they're still a little bit cheap. I mean, I play Champions of Contagion mainly, where you can just turn CP into damage. Like there's 2 amazing damage strats. So anything can kind of punch up really well. But with the weak stuff, I don't want my stuff to get cheaper. I want my stuff to get better. So that's why I give an example of, the Annihilation Legion, because there's that you can't point an army for being as trash as it is an Annihilation Legion, because then every other Necron's attachment that is good is now broken. It's a lot easier to look at data sheets that are struggling and that aren't played, and sometimes it's points, but like if there's a points price where you just spam 3 units of something because it's so cheap and it does a job and it's but no, we don't really want to play in that space. We want to play in a space where I'm taking this unit because I have a job for this unit to do, and it's good at that job / like pointed well enough that I still want to take it for that role. Like Poxwalkers are absolutely trash at dealing damage, usually. And then you just roll only lethal hits into something that I charged. I did like 6 damage with Poxwalkers to Magnus. That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, dude, no, I was just like -1 save. So he's saving on 3s, and I just rolled a truck of lethals.
Yeah.
And Magnus ate 6 damage. It was pretty crazy. But you don't take Poxwalkers for damage. You take Poxwalkers for like board control and screening and infiltration, and
they're a speed bump for your opponent that can score you points on the way, and they're only 70 points.
65 now. It was 65.
Yeah, nice.
But so that unit doesn't like control the battle, but feels good when you have it for its job.
Right. Yep.
Like Kroot Carnivores. I think another unit that's like that feels really impactful because you want to scout up, you want to sticky. Yep. It's it dies to a stiff breeze. It's just like 10 bodies. If you have enough shots, you will kill that unit.
Yep.
And it's not going to hurt you. The best damage it does is throwing a grenade. It is
but it
possible.
could kill a Land Raider.
It is possible. 10 crew can kill a Land Raider. I've done the math. It is possible. But rules just feel better into stuff that's struggling.
Yeah.
Broadsides. Why do broadsides have a 4+ feel no pain to mortal wounds? That doesn't feel relevant to the job that unit wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's another example?
I think there's like lots of things you could pick up on here, right? Like there's lots of like small units, like even things like aggressors and blade guard veterans for Space Marines. They don't really like their abilities are fine, but they don't really do a whole lot. Like getting rear ones to hit when you already have Oath a Moment is like fine, but it's not like the best thing in the world. Like having more focus on your units could be interesting. Not that I'm saying that blade guard really needed changed.
I would disagree. I think both those rules are really good for the unit's role, right? The aggressors are close fire support and melee, so it's like bonus AP against the closest target. Now, that's a rule that like rewards your aggressors for doing their job, which is getting a PvP charge. You know, like I'm struggling to think of like you know you have that unit in your army that just has a datasheet rule that just absolutely never comes up. And when somebody asks you what's that unit's datasheet ability, you're like, I genuinely don't know. I've never used it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. There's like some that are like battle shock tests. Like the I think the prime example is like the Corn Lord of Skulls. Its ability is after it hits something, if it's still alive in the fight phase, they have to do a battle shock test. Like right before like it's just a horrible rule, right? Like stuff like that is kind of what you're obviously Corn Lord of Skulls niche unit pretty isn't the most important thing in the world, but like those kind of rules are like give them something that's a bit more exciting to use.
Unless it's an aircraft or a fortification. And then
aircraft should be removed from the game. Like realistically, they're just not fun to play with.
I want the option to take aircraft.
Sure.
I just want them to be bad.
Yeah.
I had the Sunshark bomber. I love the Sunshark bomber from 9th edition. It shouldn't have been that good because it was great. But you know, like just don't point it efficiently. That's in any indirect should basically be pointed to hell.
Yeah. I do like what they've done with a lot of the indirect now, where it's like a utility piece, where it's like, oh, I force a battle shock here, or I slow you down, like stuff like that. I think is really nice.
Yeah, like you don't want artillery for damage. Yeah. I mean, you might, you know.
Well, I am once known for that, but
the community doesn't.
Yeah,
right.
I think like the level of indirects that like a Tau army provides with like the smart missile systems is probably the maximum amount of damage I want it to do. Like it can maybe kill 5 little idiots, and like if that's the maximum it can do, you're probably in like a good position.
Yeah, I mean, indirect is also a good tool for forcing engagement out of your opponent because there's a psychological element to I am going to shoot you a little bit every turn. So you're going to stay behind that wall or you're going to come out and actually play the game.
Yeah, exactly. And it's great into elves and I hate elves. So there's that.
Yeah. I don't know. Like the reason I got into Death Guard is not because it was like top of the meta, but because I always hated Death Guard. And then I saw the rules come out and I'm like, I'm going to challenge myself to play an army that has no speed because I like highly mobile armies. So, that was kind of like a development thing for me was like, I'm going to play something that when I start the game, I know exactly where every unit is moving every turn till turn 5. And that's like, because I can't turn around.
Yeah.
Right? Like the train goes in one direction and it's towards my opponent's DZ.
Yeah.
Right? Through the midboard, through every objective into their deployment zone. That's where the train goes.
Yeah.
And so playing an army that had very little reactiveness meant that I had to hold initiative in terms of like play initiative and forcing play so that my opponent was always reacting and I was always taking the initiative.
Yeah.
So getting to play in that kind of space and developing my skills there was really interesting.
I do agree with that. I love the idea of, trying a new faction, especially where it's the issues that you're having in your play. Death Guard may not have been the hardest army to do that with. Like,
that's not what it's about. I'm like, I still wanted to win.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah.
There's Tate as well. Tate said, I'm going to challenge myself by playing Death Guard Jonty 2025. That's very fair.
Yeah, I mean, I was developing a particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I've kind of got what I want out of them. Like what I play for the next few months is going to depend on what comes out of the data slate and what looks really
definitely.
interesting. Like I'm playing a lot around with like Necrons again because
Nice.
like I'm traditionally a Tau player who fell in love with Necrons. So I would really love to play Tau and Necrons. The issue with me playing Tau is I will play Retcad or Kaoyun, and Retcad just feels bad when the shortened blade is 2 CP. So drop that down to 1 CP, and I'd be like, cool, I'll play some of that.
Yeah, Retcad becomes very nice if has like CP management locked down. Because the issue with Retcad a lot of the time is like you can't do everything you want to every turn.
Like I think as well, like talking about rules feeling impactful, I would love to see something like more of those 12-inch free strat auras. I think for what they do for the game, they make it a lot more interesting. Like where you have that kind of tech available come this. They've given it to Votan now. They've given it to like all the Chaos Legions, all the Demon Princes have it. There's obviously Gilliman. There's the like vanilla Hive Tyrants. It's a rule that makes you want to take a unit because it can push you to play in a variety of different ways, depending on what strategies you have access to, but it always feels impactful. Give it to Shadow Sun. Take away Shadow Sun's 5-up CP regen, give her free strat 12-inch aura.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
awesome.
Please, wouldn't that be great? I would love that. That would be, and give her a points bump, right?
Yep.
Like put her up like 120 points or 125, from 100. She's not doing any more damage. She's not any more durable.
She's pseudo doing more damage, I suppose, because you're guaranteeing extra CP. But
it just makes your army feel more coherent.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, I do like those characters because they are linchpin. Like if you lose them early, you're like, oh my god, like now I'm down 3 CP this game because I lost her on turn 2. Like, which is kind of exciting.
It's a balance between like making rules interesting enough that people want to use them, while also keeping them balanced. Like if you're playing into a guy on Retcad, he wants to be fire and fading with a unit every turn. And because it's like one of the reasons you're attracted to play that detachment. If you're playing, when I was playing a lot of Ultramarines, I was basically using my free strat to like push something into a doctrine because I look at the command phase and I'm like, cool, this is what I'm going to do this turn. So what units do I want and why? That gives me like a degree of flexibility that lets me use the stratagems that I really want to use. I might go back to playing Ultramarines as well. I don't know. Like just everything looks. There's a lot of stuff that looks really interesting at the moment.
And I think that's what's really exciting is there is so much that looks fun to play, which is like a cool place to be in the meta. Like, so I think the main thing I want out of this data slate is nothing too heavy-handed. I want lots of like small things because I don't want it to then swing and go really heavy another way. And then, now Tau got 5 buffs and now they're like the top dog. Like, and yes, I play Tau and that would be great, but I don't like it when there's 1 or 2 factions that are just clearly head over heels above everything else. I want it to be more of a like even matchup because that means your skill can get expressed a bit more rather than just, oh, my army shoots better than yours and it's a shooting matchup. Cool, I win now. It makes it a bit more exciting.
You are inevitably going to have those matchups, right? Where like 2 people are trying to do the same job and one person does that job better. I mean, I think good game balance is to be like, yes, you do this job, the other person does this job better, but also you have this other job that you can do to like try and balance it out. Yeah, like I think. I don't know what I was going to say.
You're good. We have a question from Jed here. Either of you guys playing at the upcoming Chile Teams event? I'm looking into it myself. I'm contingent right now, but it's looking like I might be able to come up, which would be very exciting. How about you, Jonty?
I am not, because it is very proximate to my son's due date.
Very
So,
fair. Oh, sorry,
yeah.
hun. I'll be back in
No,
2 days'
I
time.
would be.
Just gonna hit some scrubs.
Yeah, I'd be like, babe, no, I've still got 30 minutes on the clock. I can't. So like I'll take a little bit of a step back, but I'm definitely going to be involved in coaching the Chile guys that'll be going up.
Yeah.
I think they're still figuring out exactly what the teams are going to look like for that event. When it comes like a Chile event, the technical Chile crew are more interested in like producing teams for development than like going in and smashing it.
Yep.
Which I think is a really cool policy. So it gives us a really good opportunity to give some of our lesser experienced players more exposure, to push them. And that's what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be helping them in the lead up to the event.
Awesome. That's very exciting. It is a very cool thing that Chile does, is the kind of growth within the community as well. It's a very cool mantra to have.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great time for competitive footy in New Zealand. Like, we have grown so much. And the caliber of events has gone up.
Yep.
More competition, and like cracking into what they did for so long, delivering like really good events. I'd speak to other communities, but I basically just go to events in Hamilton and Auckland.
Yep.
Although I am going to Lakes this.
Oh, nice. Yep. I'm going to Lakes as well. So
yeah, so I mean, this will be like the first time I travel 40k outside of Hamilton and Auckland.
Yep.
And to clarify, that's 40k in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I'm really looking forward to Lakes for that reason, and also like I'm really like, oh, it's going to be post status slate. Well, it's cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be great. Going to be great to catch up with all my friends, and then my family's also basically all like my brothers and my mother are all up there, so it'd be great for me to come up and like be able to hang out with them, and then also catch up with my Warhammer buddies. So it's going to be a great weekend for me. I also got a couple of extra days to spend with family afterwards, since if I come up, just play 40k and then leave on the Sunday, I don't think my family would appreciate that. But so I've got a couple of days off to 40k nice.
If they don't support your hobbies, Chris,
but if I don't see them and I'm in Rotorua for the weekend, it might be a little much.
No, I think just the caliber of events and the quality of terrain, and I know a lot of people are kind of like, oh, it's the same cut and paste copy terrain, but I'm like, what I think is really great for competitive is your ability to like master a terrain set and have like a consistent quality terrain. And that, what all these 40k communities have been building up hard.
Yeah, it's awesome to see.
And as someone who's like really focused more on the competitive side of things, I like a really balanced, fair table. Like we've all played on those tables. That's basically a shooting gallery. And it's like it doesn't feel super fun when it's like, I went first. I just killed 1,500 points with your army. Like, okay.
Yeah. What game are we playing here now? Yeah.
Exactly. It's not fun. Like I think really good terrain standards are a really good balancing act. And I know like the WTC people work really hard to make balanced tables. And yeah, they're better for a team format, but there are also good singles tables in there too.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean GW terrain as well. I've played a little bit on GW terrain, not as much as WTC. And like they're also good, but you encounter kind of similar, like it's like, oh, this one is a lot more shooting favored.
Yep.
Some of those layouts. Yeah, but
they're different flavors, right? Like, and different, it's actually nice to have variety though. It's not like we don't all have to play on one. There's effectively 3 major types. There's WTC, UKTC, and GW, right? They're the 3 kind of main flavors, and they all play slightly differently, which is exciting. If they all played the same, it would be a bit more boring. But if you're traveling and you get to play 40k and you go to UK, you get to play on a different set of terrain sets than if you're playing.
I absolutely love that LVO last year? Have we had LVO this year?
LVO this year is like in a month's time. There's 2 LVOs this year because they changed the date. So there was one in February and then there's one next month, I believe.
The last time they did LVO, I think it was LVO, they had maps from every competitive terrain format.
Yeah.
That was awesome because it was like not only do you need to be really familiar with WTC terrain, but hey, there's going to be some UKTC, there's going to be some GW.
Yeah, that's very
But
cool.
they're all quality maps.
Yep.
You know, like I just thought that as a, you know, like if there was an event in New Zealand that was like, we're going to run a mix of those three, I'd be like, oh, sick. Like, sign me up. That sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Even just as a learning experience, it'd be great to like understand and learn how they all work and everything. It'd be very fun.
And I would immediately be on TTS being like, guys, we gotta play some GW layouts. We gotta play some UKTC layouts.
Yeah.
I gotta get some reps in. Right?
Yeah, that'd be
gotta figure out those firing lines. Some of the angles so well at WTC. Like, let's find the angles.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That's what I generally do that like some nights where I'm like, oh, I want to do some 40k, like I don't have enough time for a game. Like I'll just go on TTS, go on a board and like try and figure out like where is some like sneaky firing angles or where can I position things to then like be in interesting positions. Like I'll generally just do that for like half an hour and just kind of get it in my head.
Yeah, I mean that's what I did a lot with Hypercrypt.
Yeah,
especially like with dropping Titanic units onto like that much of a terrain piece, right? It's like, yeah. I mean, it's big playing by intent, right? Because if your opponent's trying to screen their stuff out and they've just got it wrong, you know, like you're like, well, just move up a little bit. But you know, it's when you play with 3-inch deep striking monoliths that can touch a terrain piece and see through it, like the options that opens up in terms of where you can shoot your opponent is a nightmare.
Yep.
It's just like, I'm gonna shoot you, buddy. Don't even try and stop me.
It's like playing big nights as well. Like especially now, there's potential for IK having advance and shoot army wide. It's going to be a nightmare to try and play in where they can get to and what plates they can touch. It's going to be crazy.
I mean, I was playing a lot of the I was playing into the Infernal something.
Infernal Lance, is it?
Infernal Lance? I don't know. Yeah. The one, the CK Infernal detachment where you can get access to the various buffs.
Yeah.
And one of the buffs is plus, it's 2 or 3 inches movement.
Yeah.
That's game changing. It's like, you know, that extra is generally enough to get you to just hit that next terrain piece and open up whole firing lanes.
No one's ever going to complain about an extra couple of inches, mate.
Yeah, well, I mean the IK where it's not a fixed number of inches. Sometimes you have an extra inch.
Yep.
Sometimes you have an extra 6 inches.
Still, an extra inch is still better than an extra no inches.
You can do a lot of damage with an extra 6 inches.
Yeah, definitely right. And with that, I think I might close this out. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you very much, Jonty, for being a part and spending your Friday evening chatting with me about the society and about the upcoming balanced data slate.
It's all good.
You're always a champion. Always a pleasure to have you on. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans before we say goodbye?
All right, fans, Chris.
You have more fans than you think you know. But you're all good.
No, I'm good. Yeah, we'll chuck that email and the thing. If anyone has any questions about the society, hit me up through the email, through social media, through Discord, wherever you can. It's something I'm super passionate about, so I'm always happy to talk about it. It's a great time.
Awesome. And again, one last quick shout out. I have a fundraiser in 2 weeks' time, on the 2.5 weeks' time. On the 20th and 21st of September, it is a fundraiser for Blue September and the Prostate Cancer Society, just to get as much money as we can towards their research and their funding. There'll be more posts on social media over the next couple of weeks, but yeah, there's a QR code down here that you can have a look at if you want to have a look at that. Otherwise, see you guys next time. It's always been a pleasure. Bye-bye.